Conservation of natural resources, our precious natural resources, the materials available on the earth, sustain life. These materials, like rock, minerals, coal, petroleum, air, water, plants, and animals, are called natural resources, which are very important for us. These are gifts of nature to human being. We must conserve these resources. Conservation means judicious or wise use of these resources. It means human beings have used natural resources at a very fast rate without thinking about the consequences. Deforestation, cutting of trees had led to soil erosion, loss of soil fertility, and floods. The industrialization has caused problems of waste disposal and pollution. We should take resources. Natural resources can be further divided into the category we can see here. Natural resources are divided in two parts as a renewable and non-renewable. Renewable, which can be recycled, which can be never be exhausted. Non-renewable category, which cannot be recycled and which get exhausted. So here, as we find, the sun, the energy we get from the sun is called the solar energy. Like, it can be changed into the electric energy and is stored in the batteries. This energy is used to generate electricity, operate windmills, draw underground water. Soil, plants and trees grows in it. These provide us with energy, everything from food to basic necessities such as firewood, timber, food, medicine, etc. We find water. No life is possible without water. Sources of water are river, ponds, lakes, and oceans. It falls on the earth as a rain or snow. There is underground water under the soil. This can be taken out by digging. It means here the forest. These are a sources of various types of fruit, medicine, firewood, and timber. They provide us with oxygen. Coal and petroleum. Coal and petroleum are formed from plants and animals which got buried underground a long time ago. Coal is found in Bihar, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and Tamil Nadu. Assam and Gujarat have some important oil fields. Oil is refined in plants called refineries. Minerals. Minerals are substances that are used. Rocks from which metals can be obtained are called ores. Ores are refined and converted into pure metal. Iron is the most useful metal. Beside iron, manganese, mica, copper, gold, and silver, and other metals found in India. Okay, sir, now we talk here the preservation and conservation of the environment. Means those who are concerned with protecting the environment often use the words conservation and preservation. These two terms are often confused and are used to mean the same thing. All the differences exist here. Conservation is the sustainable use and management of natural resources, including wildlife, water, air, and earth deposits. Natural resources may be renewable or non renewable. The conservation of renewable resources like trees involves ensuring that they are not consumed faster than they can be replaced. The conservation of non renewable resources like fossil fuels involves ensuring that sufficient quantities are maintained for future generations to utilize. Conservation of natural resources usually focus on the need and interests of human beings. For example, the biological, economic, cultural, and recreational values such as resources have. The rainforest, for example, contains a wide range of biodiversity, providing food stock for local populations and a source of timber and medicines for the countries. Conservationists accept that development is necessary for the better future, but only when the changes take place in way that are not wasteful. What is the conservationist oppose is not the harnessing of the nature for mankind's progression, it means progress, but the fact that all too often the environment comes off the worse for wear. And preservation, if we talk about here, the in contrast to conservation, attempts to maintain in their present condition areas of the earth that are so far untouched by humans. This is due to the concern that mankind is encroaching onto the environment at such as a rate that many untamed landscapes are being given over to farming, industry, housing, tourism, and other human developments, and that we are losing too much of what is natural. Like conservationists, some preservationists support the protection of nature for purely human centered reasons. Stronger advocates of preservation, however, adopt a less human centered approach to environmental protection, placing a value on nature that does not relate to the needs and interest of human beings. Deep green ecology argues that ecosystems and individual species should be preserved whatever the cost, regardless of their usefulness to humans, and even if their continued existence would prove harmful to us. This follows from the belief that every living thing has right to exist and should be preserved. The student, as we here talking about the preservation and conservation of the environment, now we talk the next topic here as a needs for conservation of natural resources. As we know, student, if we don't conserve these natural resources, our life will be not possible, means without it. So we know that the nature provide us all our basic needs, but we tend to over exploit it. If we go on exploiting the nature, there will be no more resources available in future. It means where there will be no life on the earth. So there is a urgent need to conserve the nature, and some of the needs are here. First, to maintain ecological balance for supporting life. Second, to preserve different kinds of species, that is called the biodiversity, to make the resources available for present and future generation. And next here, to ensure the survival of human races. So we can say कि we can conserve the natural resources by following terms, as you can find also in your book, like reducing or reduce our consumptions of natural resources by like cutting down the trees, unnecessary utilization of natural resources. We can use the process, we can here we should here use the recycle, what we can make the useful products of things, and that we no longer we use. Rather than dispose at the first chance, we must reuse things as far as possible before recycling or discarding. These are the some points for needs to conserve of natural resources, or you can say key methods of the conservation of natural resources. Now, next question arises here: कि why should we conserve natural resources? So, as we know that nature provides all the basic needs which are necessary to us, but we are over exploiting and overusing these resources. If we go on exploiting the nature, these will be no more resources available in the future. So there is an urgent need, and as I told you earlier here, to maintain the ecological balance for supporting, uh, preserve the species and animals, and preserve the natural resources for present and coming days. So, if we use wisely these natural resources, we will be able to use the nature in long time. Next question arise here: how can we conserve nature? That means by little effort we can conserve our natural resources, like saving the water as we bath every day, using the shower. So we can taking the shower means beside taking the shower, in place of taking here the shower, we use the bucket. So it means use the water in a mug while brushing your teeth rather than leaving the tap open through the process. Use the kitchen wastewater and water from the washing clothes to water the plants. Harvest rain water. Run the washing machine only when there is a full load. Make use of carpools or available public transport system wherever possible. Turn off the car engine while waiting major traffic jam, long traffic signal, etc. Unplug charger and electric appliances when not in use. Grow flowering plants for birds, bees, and other pollinators. Carry a cloth bag when you go shopping. Say no to plastic, means don't use the plastic bag. Replace the old uh, bulbs at home with energy saving polythenes bulbs. So these are some methods, these are some way we can conserve our nature. Now, next point here: environmental protection and conservation. It means when any person or means individuals, organizations, societies, and governments undertake the protections for the natural environment, it is called the environmental protection or conservation. So it means we should have the aim to safeguard and preserve our precious natural resources by reversing trends and repairing damages already inflicted on our environment, as a degradation of environment is directly influenced by the growing population, overconsumptions, and modern technology, and environmental protections seek to restrain further degradations of the environment. Means we should try to conserve and repair all the things which we have done worse for our use. So it means environmental conservation is an umbrella term that covers anything and everything what do we protect. And we can do our bit by doing simple things, like by little efforts we can save our nature, like by appliances such like machine, washing machine, refrigerators. We can use this with the government's Energy Star label to use these such a appliances for use. So we should use the registered and standard type of the machine. It should be as a registered appliances with the ISI mark, you can say. And when you buy a car, to first of all think about its highest gas mileage and lowest emission. Means you can purchase such a kind of the CNG car, compressed natural gas, which use for fueling. You can also use public transport or carpooling if it is possible for you. Use LED lights at your home. Turning off the lights saves energy at your home. If there is a no need of the light, you should switch off. It saves the energy. Throwing away containers of any kind waste energy and resources and adds to pollution. To use biodegradable materials in place of these. Making paper and plastic bag uses energy and resources. So it means they too add to the pollution. To carry reusable and recycle type of the bag. Reduce the use of paper, which means reduction in cutting down of the trees. That means when you need a paper, then you use and don't waste the paper, because you know ki for the preparation of the paper, it takes the lots of the trees. I mean, it uses the lots of the trees for making the paper. So student, we should um, think about these for the conservation of nature. So I think you will like this video to understand about the nature. I tried my best to tell you all these things, and I know ki you aware about all these things, but it is necessary to read this chapter. The okay student, thank you for watching.